What's up, guys? Welcome to a whole new episode of Toy Addicts Anonymous. I'm Carlos, the Badass Reviews, and
Toy Addict 26 in the house. What's up, guys?
what's up, man? How's everything?
Everything's cool,
How
man.
is everything going?
Good start of the year. I mean, a lot of interesting stuff going on the Thundercats front. I know you got your notice that my cat slayer is en route, so super excited about that. I made space. This wall over here, that's where the baby's gonna be. So it's gonna be great because it'll be shown on video when I stream and stuff. So
I'm actually gonna do a review on that first. I'm gonna open that,
yeah,
and
right.
then,
Let me tell you, I'm nervous because a lot of people have received theirs with fucking damage on their box, dude.
Really?
Yes, because Super 7, I'm getting super pissed at these motherfuckers. They didn't do really thick cardboard like they did for Snake Mountain. So apparently the box is very easy to pierce through.
Oh, really?
A bunch of people on Facebook that have pictures where the hole not only went through the cardboard, it went through the inner packaging, and it's actually damaged the inner placement.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. So I'm like worried because I wonder what they are doing for shit like that, where people are receiving their stuff broken, because that's a very expensive piece, man.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, talking about crazy stuff, man, we have a guest tonight, and it's nobody else than the one and only Blake. Recon Rage. What's up, man? How's everything?
What's up, guys? Oh,
man.
Just wrapping up a day here, getting ready for some fun on the old Badass Reviews and Toy Addict channel. So, hey, I'm good with this. This is the way I like to end my day.
Awesome, man. And hey, listen, for everybody who's listening and everybody who's going to watch later, let us know, who's Blake, what's Recon Rage, so people can know and people can start, knowing you, following you. Follow this guy because he's awesome. I'm telling you guys right now, he's awesome. So follow him, give him a follow, subscribe, everything. Just go ahead and do it. But Blake, tell us about you.
Yeah, so I've been collecting. Oh gosh, I'm 56 years old. So I've been collecting a long time. What got me into collecting was I grew up in Chicago, and basically it was the Star Wars 1977-78 3 3/4 line from Kenner. Look forward to it. In fact, I was taught a very good lesson by my family. It's like, hey, you want to buy all these action figures? Get a job, young man. Start doing all that. So, people talk about, action figures, you're a grown adult collecting action figures. And I'm like, yeah, I'm straight I am. And I'm very happy to do so. And, through this process of our collecting and our love for our little plastic people, one of the greatest things that ever happened was I learned a lot growing up around wanting something and working for it, and then also, valuing what you have. JP, we look behind you and you see your collection there, nice mint condition. You display it very respectfully. Carlos, you got yours in your DTOFs. I've got all my DTOFs back here in our whole collector's room. If you haven't seen the channel, my collector's room, I was on Legion's Lair. I was the guest 2 weeks ago with Brad and Mike from Legion's Lair. Goes through my whole collection room and everything. So I understand the passion, the love, the pride that goes into, these things that make us happy. We're only here a short time, so let's enjoy ourselves and do what you do, collect what you collect, and just, let your passion of your art and your geek side shine nice and bright.
Nice. Blake, we saw you at Legion's Con, this past Legion's Con, and I know you for a while already. So let us know what's going on with your Instagram. I know you have a very cool Instagram account. What's the main topic on your Instagram? We know it's action figures, but what's the main goal there?
Well, I like toy photography. Besides collecting, I like photography in general. So one of the things I really like, and we're living in the golden time of action figure collecting because we have all this technology. Not only do we have all these wonderful individual IP companies starting their own lines and all these wonderful figures that you never thought you were going to get, IPs that are going deep into, character designs that you never thought you were going to get these characters. 3D printing. I know a lot of people in the artist community aren't happy with AI, but the end result is AI brings some other artistic aspects that can be fun. Obviously, if you're not misrepresenting yourself and saying, hey, I create AI art because I just put a couple hashtags in, that's a different story. But there are things with AI that have allowed, you've seen it, Carlos and JP, I'm sure you've seen it. We're all Instagram, social media followers, and we're always looking for that next cool post or picture or figure. How many of these mythic legions have you seen where they're action, they're alive? Like, I really dig that stuff. That stuff's really cool. So what I'm trying to get out of my, what's up, Blake? Brick. Yes, Blake, peace. So basically what I'm trying to get out of my whole online, stance is just finding fellow collectors like you and all the people in this wonderful community and just highlighting the artists that are there. I have a lot of customs and I show a lot of different kit bash and customs and pop and swaps and stuff. And I really try to do justice to all the artists out there that I've, got commissions from or bought things from or picked up at Legion's Con or another con itself, and throw out, the shout outs where due be, because there's so much talent in this community. It's absolutely mind blowing. So my Instagram, it's really more about to highlight the community, have a little fun with my photography. Trevor is one of those guys with Mythic Legions, right? We all know Trevor.
Who's Trevor?
Yeah. I think he's got a tiny little 300 to 400 page book coming out with Four Horsemen. I know something like the first 10 years. But yeah, Trevor, when you look at Trevor's photography, and there's several others in this community that are just like mind blowing, right? You just look at some of their stuff. In my photography through my Instagram, I aspire to be like those guys. Eventually, I want to go from just really cool product shots or, motion stuff like that into dioramas and things of that source. But that also takes a more of an investment and room to do things like that. So I think with the reality of that, just take your time, have fun with the art and the hobby. And that's literally what my Instagram's all about. It's not about, and we talked about this before we went online here, it's not about necessarily I'm not trying to make a living on it. I'm not trying to collect followers. That's not where I'm at. The people I'm approaching, I'm in the 900s now. So I'm going to head to my first 1,000 followers. And where I say that, it's a benchmark in the industry of like, oh, you hit 1,000, right? You're starting to like chug along. I can happily say that all 1,000 of my followers are real toy people and artists. I'm not, if I get somebody that friends me or wants on there and it's like one of those, those sites, like the people you're like, I'm just like, no, thank you. It's not about that. It's about keeping this community intact and having really awesome people together to bond with, whether it's like this and we're millions of miles apart, or we're sitting next to each other on a live having fun at Legion's Con or, Zolo Con or wherever we're going to be.
Awesome.
So that's what it is for me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And talking about great people, we have Articulated Times. What's up, Steve? Steve man. Check Articulated Times. He's amazing. And check his store, Articulated Empire. He has actually our shirt from the realm on pre-order and Articulated Empire. So guys, go check them out. Check all the toy lines he has, because Steve is one of those guys actually that promote the actual like little companies, like like Four Horsemen, AWalk, you name it. Like that guy right there is like hell of a guy. Support him because his online store is amazing. Articulated Empire. Go there, check them out. We have also Dave Dimensions on the chat. What's up, man? How's everything? Everything. Ian, we have Break something. Break, my brother Break. What's up, man? How's everything? Really, really cool. And yeah, like you said, and I was talking to Jorge a few days ago. Actually, that's really coincidental that you touched that topic about AI. Remember, Jorge, We were talking about that. And Jorge is an artist. So Jorge is one of the most talented people I know. Man, he's, aside from being one of the most humble guys and good people that I know, not because he's my friend and because he's here, but because I try to surround myself around like just good people. That helps a lot in my life, like as a total. But we were talking about like him being an artist, how he evolved from just doing like drawings and stuff like that to use like ZBrush and stuff like that in order to keep himself, you know, like ahead on the community, designing and stuff like that. And AI, we were talking about that because actually I was having a conversation with Marco from Meta Travelers. And he was telling me, because Marco is like lighting engineer. So he does these like big shows like Ultra here in Miami and those like crazy big shows. So he's freaking insane. So he was telling me about AI and how he's getting into AI right now, because he's like, listen, Carlos, if I don't understand AI and I don't study that, somebody else is going to do it, you know? And it's not just about, just like you said, put some hashtags and fill the machine with your hashtag and create something. No, you need to have talent in order to listen up. Toy photography, right? You have Trevor. Imagine Trevor, a shot from Trevor, and you put that on an AI animation. It will be insane, right? But the talent of Trevor is there. Like he needs to create that shot. He needs to put all those dioramas, all the lighting, like all the poses and stuff like that. The same with Jorge creating, like creating all his artwork and stuff like that. I mean, if you use AI with certain stuff, it's his talent which is there. It's not that he's. I mean, it's not like like you said, like just put hashtags right there and create something out of the blue. I mean, I will say, and this is my personal opinion, if the technology is there, man, use it, because otherwise somebody else is going to do it, and then you're going to stay behind. You're going to keep yourself behind. What do you say about that, Jorge?
Well, I think it's kind of like it's like a 50-50 situation, right? Because when you look at it from the creative side, let's say that I have a distinctive style, right? Let's say I have like Van Gogh. Everybody can distinguish a Van Gogh painting, right? Obviously, he's no longer alive to defend his work, but you can basically tell AI to say, hey, I want to do a Masters of the Universe classic type action figure that looks like it's painted by Vincent Van Gogh. Van Gogh is not getting any money for that. That's where the issue is, that they're taking our creative style and our thumbprint and something that we created as humans and feeding it into this technology machine that's spitting out something that, yeah, okay, it looks cool, but then the original creator is not getting credit for it. That's where the biggest problem lies. If they can figure out a way where once they have established creators that are okay with it, and kind of like when you have a record label and you're a musician,
Correct that. Yeah.
if you play this music, this person gets X amount of cents per play or whatever, then that'll be okay because we're getting our credit, right? But right now, if I design an action figure and once I post the concept art, I see 2 months later down the line, somebody's got my concept art, animated it, they're getting 1 million views and making money off my stuff. They need to pay me. That's where the problem is. You see what I'm saying? So it's important to stay with technology. And like you explained before, my rebirth as an artist came when I purchased my iPad. Okay. I found that, the undo button and working with layers was just a completely new world that I had never discovered when I worked in analog form with paper and charcoal and pencils and erasers. So that really opened up like an arena for me to be creative, like a sandlot that I had never played in. But when we talk about AI, it's no longer you using a device to create. It's a device creating with your own stuff. So it's really kind of um it's a controversial subject, especially with artists and creators, because we want to be able to receive credit when we see our style or our creations being transformed into something else through AI.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I totally get it from the artist side. I think it's such a new frontier that there's a lot of navigating that has to be done. And the concerning part with AI is I think it's going to change so fast that it's going to be hard to keep up with a lot of the things that are happening with it. So I 100% agree with you. Um, the other part, though, is at what point, what would those algorithms or what would that criteria look like, right? So I use an example, Mythic Legion's figure. And then people take the picture of that Mythic Legion's figure that they bought. Now, granted, the figure was sculpted by Eric Treadaway and created by the Four Horsemen Studio. There's two ways you can look at it. It's a double-edged sword. So you can look at it from the artist's point going, well, Blake used this AI app and he's now got, Kurzog, the ogre, in motion form swinging his axe, and he's a really cool motion thing. From a company side, you can embrace it and say, wow, we're getting all these views of our action figure that's now in live motion, and it's driving more excitement about it. Blake's not getting paid on it. He's just having fun because he thinks it's cool. And I think that's where this process there needs to be something that disseminates where you're overstepping your bounds on the artist's IP, their own creation, and what's actually just fun for the community, or someone's just having fun with it and not trying to, make a living on it, take away your hard work and your artistic capability and trying to represent it as theirs. That's a big one. If I created something that was amazing like that, I would be pretty frustrated if somebody else is, running with it. So,
Right. I guess like Brick is mentioning, you can also look at it and like you said, like free advertising,
Mhm.
But on the Four Horsemen end, they're already an established toy company. So
True.
they're just gonna get more exposure. People are gonna go Four Horsemen Studios, click, order Kurzog, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But for people that don't have anything tangible or for sale yet, that's where I feel it's kind of a little bit more, an example is there's a website, I forget the name of it. I'm part of it, but I haven't posted anything else on it because I found out that they're affiliated with AI. So what they do is anybody that posts on that website, they get their art and they feed it into the AI program. So your essential, style or whatever can be used through AI by other people without your consent. So it's just, it's kind of it's interesting. It's a very interesting. We could have an entire show dedicated to this, and it would be good.
Yeah.
No, and it would be awesome to actually get some creators, to maybe get one of the horsemen on here, maybe get someone from Mondo on here, so we can actually have a real roundtable discussion. I think it would make for a great stream.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
Get
Hey,
down.
we have Roberto Suarez on the chat, Puerto Rico in the house. What's up, Roberto?
And we have to give a shout out, Carlos. Wepa!
Wepa!
I love
Man,
it.
this guy right there is amazing. Such a great guy. I love that guy, man. I love that guy. But yeah, like you said, Jorge, I mean, it's kind of like that thin line, right? Where it's like, it's a very interesting topic to discuss, because I remember, and I think I mentioned this last time. I took a picture. I think it was a picture of the new exclusive from Savage Crucible, the one that looks like Battle Cat.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I took a picture of that one, and I mean, I love that picture. That shot was really cool, and I was like, I saw everybody playing with the AI animation, and I was like, you know what? Let me test this, and it didn't let me do like too much, just like a little mini clip, just like a little movement there, man, and it looks fantastic. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was surprised and scared at the same time, and I was like, wow, you can do this thing with this. And I don't know anything about it. I just put my image and I put like like animation, your image, whatever. So a lot of people like it. Like I would say maybe like 80% of the people were like, damn, that looks so cool, whatever. But some other people were like, no, Carlos, don't do that, whatever, not you. And I was like, calm down, guys. I'm just testing the waters. I'm just trying to learn new things, because I'm always, it's to me, it's how I can explain. I can explain it with jiu-jitsu, right? With martial arts. Uh, Back in the days, we have a very specific style of jiu-jitsu, right? Like, and that was the old school style, more likely like the Japanese style jiu-jitsu, which was really traditional. So when the Gracies took over that Japanese jiu-jitsu, Helio Gracie and his family modified the whole art, right? And all the Japanese instructors, they were alarmed, like, oh my God, these guys destroy the art. It looks horrible. It's not the same, whatever. But at the end of the day, what the Gracies did was like modify the jiu-jitsu, not to make it look good, but to make it be more effective for the modern times, right? And it's the same right now. I mean, I'm studying, like every time I'm going to teach something, every single year, techniques evolve, students evolve, competitors evolve, and you need to stay on top of that. It's like a doctor, with technology. Before they were doing everything with their hands. Now they use like robots and stuff like that, right? So I will say yes, I understand. And like you said, we may need to look for a middle like ground on this topic with everybody, artists, consumers, people who likes to play around, whatever, so everybody can be happy at the end of the day. It's like when you put the example with the music, right? Same thing. I remember back in the days, people were playing music and using the music for this, using the music for that, and none of the artists were receiving money out of that, right? So try to have kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a data or something where you can subscribe your art or whatever, so you can go ahead and do something for the artist so you can have money, and at the same time people can actually do what they want. Like, I mean, it's that's my opinion. I may be wrong, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So 1-6 shooter talking about Trevor, he's in the house. What's up, Trevor?
What up,
Blake
Trevor?
is everywhere. Yeah, Blake is everywhere, man. He's like,
I'm
man,
like a spider monkey.
yeah, he's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Look
So
what
Rick
Rick
said,
says, could we use AI to teach you jujitsu?
hey,
That was pretty funny.
it's funny because a lot of people learn jiu-jitsu from YouTube, and when they get to the school, they're like, oh, I'm already like an expert in jiu-jitsu. And I was like, well, you're an expert in YouTube jiu-jitsu. It's totally different. So you will be surprised the things that I been like seeing my whole time teaching jiu-jitsu. I've been like in jiu-jitsu maybe like 30 years. I've seen everything already, dude. From YouTube black belts to fake MMA champions and everything. Is insane, dude. It's insane. And we have Wholesome Warlock in the house. What's up, man? The gang
GGG.
here. Purple gang in the house.
What's up, man?
Much love.
Times. So yeah, man, like, what do you say about it? Like, should we, like, you think we can get into a middle term with that, middle ground?
I mean, it depends. I think Hollywood is probably already negotiating, because I know that they're doing they're like recording actors' voices and they're doing like the scans. So I'm sure that in their contracts with the actors and stuff, they're already kind of having disclosures that cover that kind of stuff. But and like Brick mentioned, ever since we've been streaming music, musicians don't really get that much royalty anymore. But there's still money there, you know, when they play them on the radio. Um, if we put something like, I know if I put the other day I wanted to put a reel on in Thundercats Classics, and it was playing a lengthy portion of Thunderstruck by AC/DC, and
Uh-huh.
it basically told me you cannot. It said you cannot promote this reel with audio. So even though I was willing to pay to get more views or whatever, because it had Thunderstruck by AC/DC,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't let me monetize. So
Wow.
it's interesting, you know. So there's still a lot of protections out there for creators and musicians alike. So there should definitely be some sort of middle ground. And you know, we're not at the height of it yet. I'm sure that there's so much more to unlock with AI. I love the idea of moving your figures. You know, I have no problem with that. Like even for our stuff, like I would love to use that to promote our Kickstarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Figures moving and shit. That's cool as shit because you know, let's be honest, as humble collectors that we are, we don't have all this capital to throw at our campaign. So we can't afford to pay someone that would do stop motion. We'll dump it on an AI machine and make our stuff move. But it's us, you know, agreeing to do that. We're choosing to do that with our own properties. But when you have other people grabbing your stuff and creating and having personal gain from it, that's where I find an issue, you know. That's all.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
So Blake, I'm gonna show you something, and I want to see what do you think about this. Let me share a screen here. I'm trying to be faster in this thing. So
you'll never be as fast as Mega J.
I know that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to be like Mega J, dude.
Sometimes
I'm trying to be like him. What about this, man? What do you think about that? You saw that?
Still loading.
It's loading.
At least from my side, yeah.
Is loading.
It's a loading. We're waiting. Oh yeah. Well, that. So I think you saw I put a post. I put a reel as soon as I see it. So
Yeah.
You're out on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast.
Yes.
So when I get up at like 3 a.m. and work out in the mornings before I go to work, right? So I'm seeing all this stuff really quick. So when I'm throwing stuff on the reel, you guys are seeing it in your time, which is 3 hours later, which is about 6 a.m. But I'm throwing stuff up at 3 a.m. on the West Coast. And when I saw this, and you know how huge of a Joy Toy Warhammer, well, just a Warhammer enthusiast that I am across the board. When I saw this, I'm going, are you kidding me? They're actually going to this level, this layer in the lore. I was absolutely excited because if you know anything about Warhammer, that's kind of like saying, let's give a better analogy, because there's a lot of people that are starting to figure out Warhammer, but they don't understand how large this lore is and how long it's been around. It started in Europe. It's the Dungeons and Dragons of Europe that has become globally popular, like our D&D became globally popular from the United States. So this layer here opens up a whole new realm of figures that could be coming our way from this lineage of Warhammer. So I guess what I'm saying is, you get Mythic Legions, it opened up the realm of Cosmic Legions. Then you had Figure Obscura, or you had Figure Obscura before Cosmic Legions, but it's something that is, I didn't see coming, but I'm very, very happy to see these figures. They're amazing. That figure, yeah, like.
And these are still the 3 3/4 scale, right?
Yeah, this is 3 3/4 scale. But I got a question, Blake. Like that new, where this is Constantine Baldor, which is like from 40K, I think, on Horus Heresy.
It's Horus Heresy, yeah.
But I got a question. So these guys right here, these guys, I'm not too familiar with these Stormcast Eternals. like what it is. You may know better than me because you're more like aware of the lore and everything like that. Like, what is this? Because I saw a Black Talon story on the app, right? And it's like a little cartoon that they did about it. But what is this? What is the Stormcast Eternals?
Well, that's what that's from. So that's the figures that they brought into from the cartoon, from the animated version. It's a side story. So just like anything else, obviously, like the Star Wars realm has multiple side stories, multiple levels in the history and the lore. This is just another layer. I don't want to get too much into it because once you start explaining it, a lot of the viewers here will probably be lost because they don't even know what's going on. But I would say the best way to do this, yeah, you're right, Trevor. The Roman soldiers, a side note. So those Roman soldiers that they put out just recently, and I've heard through the grapevine they're going to continue that because a lot of people enjoyed them. Those Roman soldiers that Joy Toy put out are pretty phenomenal. Did you get those, Carlos?
No, because I'm planning on getting this.
I got mine. I literally the second day I was like, because this has been teased for year and a half, 2 years, and this was supposed to actually release last summer, but
really?
they had some issues with the weight, the joints. They wanted to get it right, which I'm glad. Love toy designers and companies that say, hey, hold on, we're not going to put this action figure out because we don't want you to be upset. We want to get it right when it releases. So that has a whole metal endoskeleton. So that whole figure is metal framed with
it's going to be metal frame.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's one of the questions because I know the Terminators, which are the bigger figures, they have inner metal joints, right? Some of the Terminators. I noticed the Primarchs, they don't have metal on the joints, but I was wondering because that Paladin is huge. That's maybe like 22 inches tall per 20 inches wide.
Yeah, it's 22 high. It's 22 and a half high, 17 and a half wide.
Yeah, it's huge. It's gonna be huge. And I was wondering what type of articulation that's gonna have because it may need ratchet joints, of course. Otherwise, it's not gonna hold the weight. And that thing is top heavy, really top heavy.
And that was many of the things that in a small amount of, I reached out to Locker Toys, LT Cave, one-on-one and just kind of asked what they knew about it. And they kind of said, basically what's happening is, Joy Toy will follow up. We're obviously a distributor here, but the end result is that, yeah, it comes with adoption papers. Yeah, it's like a baby. Whippa!
Baby carrier.
No kidding. Yeah, but so that actual figure, like I said, was supposed to release prior. That was the goal for them, but unfortunately, because of the design and they wanted to get it right, they just had to, take some more time, make sure that the joints are ratchet, make sure the metal endoskeleton and the joints itself. And I think if you go into some of the pictures on that, you can actually see. If you zoom in, I know that Joy Toy posted some updates where you could actually kind of see some of the metal joints. I don't know if it was in the actual video YouTube postings or if it was on there.
Let me check the pictures. I don't know if you can see the actual joints, the metal joints.
Yeah, so you can see it. So see the ball, all that segment there. See the silver ball joints? Those are metal.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very similar to this figure. So if you embiggen me here, I can show you something.
Wait a second. Let me go ahead and let me hide this, remove this. And let me switch. Wait a second. I'm going to put you in first place here, my friend.
You got it.
Here.
Okay.
Right there. So
this figure here is phenomenal. It's a standard. So you've got your average figure about that tall. This is one of the, So if you look on here, and I'm going to try to get the camera to see it. See the metal joint up in there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So these are all metal joints. Even their elbow joints are metal.
Are metal.
Their shoulder joints are metal. And what was so revolutionary about Joy Toy going to this, which I haven't seen in a lot of figures except maybe like 3-0 and some of their, excuse me, 3-0 with their metal endoskeleton frame. And then some of the other Japanese lines that have like Sentinel. I collect all the Sentinel Ironmans. They're all metal frame endoskeleton too, and they have metal joints. But Joy Toy had not done any metal joints until this figure, this figure here, and I was super surprised. Plus, not only does it give it an amazing articulation, I mean, these things are so articulated, and they hold their pose and everything.
That's a Sororitas mech, right?
Yep, that's it. And you have one of these, don't you, Carlos?
No, I don't have the mechs, to be honest with you. I know you collect the mechs. You like the actual what's the name of the proper name for those mechs? What's the name? The ones that are like half size.
Are you talking from the Warhammer line, or are you talking from?
No, the ones you have in a picture with the Praetorian ones, the big ones, the ones that are from Horror Heresy.
Right. Oh yeah. Those are the Leviathans.
Okay.
And then, well, there's several mechs in the Warhammer line, but the ones that I just posted not too long ago, those are the Leviathans. Now, the interesting part about that, which I found funny, is that you have this figure that has die-cast joints, but then the Leviathan, the Dreadnoughts, all the different Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, the Dreadnoughts, yeah.
They don't.
Oh, wow.
They don't have metal joints. But then you've got the, you remember the gray, there was one figure that came out. It's the second biggest figure. Well, it's the biggest figure right now in the Joy Toy Warhammer line.
The one, the mech from the Grey Knights.
Yes, where you get they can jump in it. I have that here. That has metal joints.
Okay. But what's the difference? I mean, I don't have any of the Dreadnoughts. What's the difference between the Dreadnoughts, like articulation wise? You think they're gonna get loose down the road, or what's the difference?
Well, I will show you right now. So here's the fist.
They have everything. That's one of the new Dreadnoughts from the Horus Heresy.
Yes. So what they have in here is they do have really good articulation and this like micro ratcheting. So they hold it. And this figure, he's a pretty hefty little guy. I mean,
it's big. It's big.
Right? You know, one of the most amazing things about these figures, and Carlos, you know this, is they literally, Games Workshop, when they contracted this license with Joy Toy, one of the things that they insisted was, we want these to look like the hand-painted micros, like the minifigures, but we want them to be articulated 3 3/4 scale. 1/18.
Articulated as hell.
What do you say, Blake? What's the ballpark percent of your Warhammer player and fan buddies know about the collect either Joy Toy or not? And how many Warhammer toy collectors don't actually play the game? That's a good one, Brick, because God, that's a tough one. Because I wouldn't know the percentage, but what I could tell you is that the Warhammer fans that I know, true players, like we have Warhammer stores here in the Portland metro area. There's actually stores you can go in and they have like table setups and they're actually playing full games, and you can go and customize, and it's kind of like this community, right? It's a fun, everyone's kind of in the lore of like action figures. Well, there it's all, you know, it's kind of like the old days when you used to get together with D&D, you know, back in the day, except they have stores that you can go do this now, and they're Games Workshop's Warhammer stores. And I'm not sure if there's any out on the East Coast, but I know Roberto Suarez, who's on here, he's out here with me. He's seen the stores.
He actually paint miniatures and stuff.
Yes, he does.
He did an amazing job in one McFarlane figure. He actually gave me as a gift for at Legion's Con. It was the Panamanian Chaos Marine. Man, that figure is one of my gems in the collection. Uh, and he's so talented. But let me tell you something. Like I mean, Jorge likes to paint stuff, but dude, to paint those miniatures,
Oh,
that's a totally different level, man. That's crazy.
yeah. You know, some of the things I like is I'll go to that Warhammer store, and every once in a while you have somebody in there painting. The guy that actually runs the store, it's a location here in Portland. It's called the Tannisbourne location. It's a community, and the guy that runs that store is probably one of the most amazing painters of of the Warhammer. He has like a showcase actually in the store of his work, and he does commissions and stuff. I'm not sure how he does it because he works at the store, but he'll sometimes be out there painting, and I'll just sit there and hang out and shoot the shit with him and just be like, watch this figure just transform. And for me, I don't paint. I've always wanted to, and I used to do drawings and art and stuff like that. So I do have an artistic side, but that painting micro miniature figures, I don't know. It's just mind-boggling and so really humbling to watch an artist do that. I can sit there and be mesmerized for hours watching it. You know what I mean? And so to actually have these figures that I can buy, I know I didn't paint it, but to buy these figures that are in almost that same level of paint, yeah, and then actually be able to put them in my showcases and tangibly toss them. They're amazing. They're amazing for this scale and this lore. There's lots of amazing out there, just like the action figure line you guys are getting ready to roll out, which I think we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, totally. No, yeah. I mean, listen, Joy Toy was. I started collecting Joy Toy because one of my collector friends here locally, he knew I like because of Mythic Legions and all these fantasy and stuff like that. I went one day to one store, whatever, and I saw these McFarlane ones, right? And I was like, oh my God, these look really cool. And I started collecting the McFarlane ones because they were cheap. I was like, you know what? I'm not too much into the lore because, Warhammer's been for over 30 plus years. Like, it's really, really old. So I didn't know that they start maybe like in 82 or 81, something like that. That's that crazy. So, but I was never interested in the Warhammer lore. I don't know why. Whatever. So I start collecting these because they were looking cool. And I was like, hey, they look cool. I know a little bit about Warhammer, whatever. So I start collecting them. And my friend saw the Joy Toy ones. And one day we were in a chat and he's like, hey, dude, check this out. And he showed me the Grey Knights from Joy Toy. And when I saw all those scripts on the pauldrons and stuff, I was like, oh my God, dude, what is that? And he's like, well, dude, the only downside is that this is 118, 3 3/4. You don't collect that. And I'm like, wow, but they look incredible. Bottom line, I saw Roboute Guilliman, the Primarch, which they're taller and they're pretty much the same size as the McFarlane ones. So I was like, you know what? This figure looks taller than the rest. Let me get him to put him next to my McFarlane figures. I know it's expensive. It was 100 and something, but hey, let me get him. Dude, that was it. End of the story. That hooked me up. I started learning about the lore. I started reading books. I started watching videos. I started watching the animes, cartoons, everything. Warhammer is one of the most amazing lores ever, dude. Ever. Oh, the game. The game is insane. The game is insane. Yeah, I know. The game is insane. But yeah, Jorge was like, dude, you're crazy with that thing. Like, you're going crazy. He's like, you're going all out. And I'm like, yes, I'm going all out.
Yeah. Warhammer was first brought in 1983, just for anybody that's on here that's interested. 83.
Okay. That's awesome. What do you say about that, Jorge? I'm crazy, right?
No, I'm just glad I'm not collecting Joy Toy because I'd have to find like another job or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he doesn't collect Joy Toy, but he collects Mondo, right?
Well,
Oh,
I don't.
what the heck? That's not cheap.
I don't collect Mondo like to the fullest. I'm collecting Thundercats. I'm collecting Motu, and I think I'm getting into the real Ghostbusters. But but then
Do you
they're
have this?
making the 6-inch Motus this year, so that's gonna be like hard to
Do you have?
avoid.
Did you get the Battle Cat?
I got Battle Cat. I didn't get Panther.
Ooh.
I was gonna get the flocked Panther, but I guess that's not happening now. So I don't have Panther, but I have Battle Cat. I have a lot of the core characters. I just
He just
got
got
Scarecrow
Scarecrow.
like 2 weeks ago.
Scarecrow.
That was
Nice.
an amazing piece.
How is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
How do you try more the articulation? Because that day you were
No, I haven't had time, man. I put him back in the box. I haven't played with it just because I'm working on this. I'm focusing right now on getting, the real estate space for Cat Slayer ready. So I haven't really messed with anything else.
okay, Jorge. Talking about the Cat Slayer. Okay, you know what? Let me start. But you can start talking. Like, what's the issue with the boxes that you were telling me? Like, what's the deal with that, man?
So apparently, Super 7 strikes again, and they didn't.
Man, that sounds.
They didn't take care in setting up logistically like a better, more rugged cardboard to put these things in. So a lot of people have been receiving their Cat Slayer with holes punched through them, where literally you can see the playset. It's not only ripping through the cardboard; it's ripping through the inner, like the art box, and then you're seeing like exposed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was telling Carlos because mine's en route. It's like, man, I hope mine is not one of those that is damaged because I remember I didn't get Snake Mountain, but I remember I think it was like big package. Oh, when I got the Thunder Tank, it came in a pretty it was like 2 layers. So it was like a box with an inner box and then the Cat Slayer box. I mean the Thunder Tank box. This is just an outer box and the Cat Slayer box. And that outer box apparently is not a very thick cardboard. So it seems to be very prone to damage. And I'm just worried about that.
Man, that thing is huge.
Let me see if I can find the book. It was on Facebook.
Like where are you gonna put that?
Right here. Right there. I'm gonna have
Well,
a whole wall right there, and I'm just gonna put like one of those folding tables. It's like a 6-foot table. It's a white table. I'm gonna put it on there.
Wow, that's insane, man. I remember seeing this at PowerCon. Blake, you went to PowerCon?
No, I wish I did. No, it's one of the shows I'd like to get to. I was going to go last year, but it got canceled. So that was my plan. So I'll be going to the next one.
Well, the next one is going to be a mix with Toylanta.
It's like a mini PowerCon type thing, but the actual PowerCon is probably not till 2026.
I don't know how. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Let me see. All right, I'm trying to find the pictures so I can tell you, Carlos, where I saw the pictures and I squirmed. I was like, oh my god.
I mean, I'm trying to look for the picture because I bet people post already pictures of the box.
Yeah, I'm looking for.
Well, the good news is that there are people with the box here, Carlos. I'm seeing, and it looks like not everyone's having bad luck, so that's good.
No, yeah. That's what. Look at this, man. You need a display.
Look at that.
You need something like this for her.
Yeah, well, he put the Thunder Tank underneath. What I'm doing is, I'm gonna do. I have like a big table, like the ones that I took to the show, to Bits and Buttons, like one of those white tables. And what I want to do is I want to print like a terrain
Oh, that's
in
cool.
high res, put it on the ground, but then I want to do like actual out of styrofoam. I want to make boulders and I want to put like moss. I want to build like a world around
That
this
thing
thing.
has lights and stuff.
Yeah, the chest lights up and the eyes light up. And then the
Wow.
inside, the control panel screen lights up, and you could put different transparencies so it projects like they're looking at different things on the screen.
Look who's
Hey,
here.
look who that is.
Look who's here.
Let's see, I'm trying to find
Jonathan.
Mr. Jonathan. Check that out.
Love that guy. He cracks me up. He's so cool to
He's
talk
hilarious. He's hilarious.
I'm gonna send
Man, like, so that thing is 36 inches, 36 and a half tall.
to. A young toddler, a small toddler, 3.5 feet tall.
So, and 29 close, not even open,
yeah.
which is pretty insane and a lot of real estate in your toy room. I mean, Blake have a big toy room, so it may fit perfectly in his, right?
Well, let's just put it this way. Blake has his own place and he's single, so my whole place is a toy room. I'm lucky to have that. So someday, if Blake, if Blake, finds that other person, Blake's probably gonna have to refine some of his sprawling displays.
So that's curious about it. Because I have a friend, I mean, my friend who moved to Maine, he's single also, and he has toys like everywhere, right? All over the house. And my question for you, I mean, I think I asked him that. I was like, dude, how you do it if you bring like a girl here to the apartment or your house and you have toys all over the house?
Well,
like how it works.
It works.
What's your line? What's your line when she asks you, but Blake, why you have toys all over the house? What's your line?
Well, it's not a line. It's actually a very heartfelt explanation. So, I know I've shared this a little bit on some other and some people in the community know, but I spent many, many years in the United States Marine Corps, and during that time frame,
respect.
Oh, no problem. I grew up in Chicago, big kid, great diverse family, wonderful upbringing. Thanks to my mom and dad, love them very much, and had the opportunity to work with my art skills and stuff that I had. I was a very good painter and drawer, like mural painters and stuff like that. Had an opportunity to further that as a profession and chose to go in the Marine Corps. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. But when I went in the Marine Corps, it was one of those things where I was trying to prove to myself what I was capable of. And I think what happened was there was a portion of I shut down the artistic figure collecting side of me, and I lost that part of me. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, it took me several years to get back to bringing back the inner child, Blake, allowing that to come out, like to be comfortable with that. Because the community that I was in today, it would be cool, but when you were in the Marine Corps back then, and you collected action figures, people are like, man, like grow up, man. You got your little dolls all around, stuff like that. So I lost a little bit of who I was because I wanted to be this badass Marine, and I did very well as a Marine, and I did my service, and it took me a little while to deprogram from some of those thought processes. It was 2007. I was in Denver. I went to a Comic-Con. My buddy's like, hey, want to go to Comic-Con? I'm like, sure. And all of a sudden, it all came back. And I was like, oh. And from that point on, I haven't turned back. And Carlos, I've shared a little bit about my pro athlete background and some of the things that I did there.
I saw that.
So that's also a community that doesn't really embrace a warrior that's in the ring collecting action figures. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a weird parallel. And it got to a point in 2007, 2008. I said, you know what? Screw all these people. I got to live my life and I enjoy this. So it's been very therapeutic for me, as well as it's just been absolutely 100% fulfilling, and it's filled my life. So back to your root question. Go on a date with a gal. She's worthy of coming back to the the toy realm. I basically tell her up front, hey, I'm just gonna let you know something. They're like, what? I'm like, hey, I'm an artist in the aspect. There's been something I've always liked. I tell them the story that I just told you, and then I tell them, if it's not for you, if you think it's weird or something that bothers you, tell me up front now, because all of these guys over here, they ain't going nowhere. They've been with me for a long time, right? My action figures are part of my life, and it's something that brings me joy. If you really care about me and you're really interested in knowing who I am, Blake, this comes with it. It's kind of like, I've got 2 grown kids, and it boils down to the fact where you either take ownership or you don't take ownership of the things in your life. And you have to, and we all have things we work through, right? We all have things and struggles, ups and downs. It's not cookie cutter. And I'm not sitting here saying I got it on lockdown or I've got everything figured out. I don't, but I've come a long way. And my action figure collecting and this artistic aspect is one of those super important things for me. And like Brick says, it is a self-awareness that I had to come into on my own. And I'm glad I came into it sooner than later. And if somebody's going to be a part of my life, just like if I bond and somebody else likes horses, or they have pets, or they like to collect Cupid dolls, or whatever, the end result is it's about understanding the people that are in your life, that are going to surround your life, and embracing it. Doesn't mean you have to collect with me. Just means you have to respect the fact that it's something that brings me happiness. And that's it.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you say that, because this is one of the things that Jorge and me, we discuss like a lot as friends, especially. And I've seen this in the community a lot, right? And thankfully, I'm blessed that I have the wife I have in my life, because she's super supportive with everything I do, even if it's the martial arts side, or I'm a metalhead. I'm always going to concerts and stuff like that. She support me with that, and she support my action figure collecting. I mean, she's the type of person that she actually built a toy room for me in the garage.
Wow.
Because she was like, well, we can have a balance, because as a marriage, it's kind of like, is you need to kind of like give and take, right? So she's like, I don't want toys around the whole house. Let's build a toy room in the garage so you can enjoy yourself, appreciate your action figures, and do whatever you want, right? So in that aspect, I'm really blessed. I'm gonna say this. I hope she watched this show.
Give it her shout out. Nice.
Because I mean, dude, she's amazing. I'm such a lucky guy that have her. When I'm going to Legion's Con and cons and stuff like that, she may not share that with me, because she doesn't understand that, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't support me. Makes sense? So, for example, when we went to PowerCon, maybe like 3 years ago, maybe more, I think, because the 2 years ago I went with Jorge. The one before I went with her and my daughter, right? So she was like, well, we stay here at the hotel. You're going to your convention. Vicky and me, we're going to the park. We're going shopping. We're going whatever, right? So she was doing her thing and I was doing my thing, right? So yesterday, actually, we were talking about she was going to a concert that, I mean, I don't know, like I know the artist, but I don't like the music. And she's like, I was like, well, you can go with Vicky. And she's like, yeah, I'm going with Vicky, whatever. And she's like, I know you don't like this, whatever. You prefer your metal, whatever. And I mean, she's always like that. We respect each other. And man, I have a super happy marriage, man. I'm blessed with my marriage. And I think the key of that is because every single one of us respect our own space our own likes and dislikes. And not everything needs to be perfect. We're totally different people. Like, listen, I'm a martial artist. I have full tattoos. I like metal. I like action figures and stuff like that. She is a very religious. She's a liturgic dance instructor. She's an angel, man, but she doesn't like metal. She doesn't like the action figures and stuff like that. But she support me, and I think that's part of the
That's
key
your
of.
identity.
Yeah, it's part of the key. And like you said, like
Mm-hmm.
it's so weird and fun at the same time, because with my students in the martial arts community and MMA community, they look at me like they never picture me as a geek, right? As a person
Right.
who likes
Oh, yeah.
action figures, who likes to take pictures of action figures, who likes comic books or cartoons or stuff like that. They always picture me like the tough guy, right? The badass. Actually, the badass reviews came from my friend Jason. He was the one who actually came with the idea. He's like, well, dude, you collect action figures and stuff like that, but you're a badass in reality. So let's
There you
put
go.
the fees, let's put the fees and the name, whatever. And he was the one, shut up to Jason. He was the one who came with the idea of the badass reviews. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, is what Brick said, is find your identity and feel proud of what
Mhm.
you are. Like, don't be afraid to show people who you are, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to give you the full potential of yourself to achieve your goals in life. I think so. And the people who surround you, even they don't like whatever you do, but they support you, is because they care about you. And those
Mhm.
are the guys that you need around you all the time, pretty
And
much.
a little add-on to that I think is really interesting for people watching or watch us on the rewind or whatever, is that the neat thing about this collecting community is the sheer fact that it not only allows you to embrace who you are, it allows other people to feel like they belong. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of us collectors out there, the globe over, that are having the same thought process or struggling like, oh, do I open it? Do I take it out of the box? Do I not take it out of the box? Is other people think, is there something weird with me because I like the box art, or like just all these different things. But when you have these communities, these YouTube channels, these times to communicate with each other, I know it sounds very philosophical, but it makes the world and our collective community not so large and lonely. It actually makes us realize that we're all just a bunch of really good people. We're a bunch of geeks. Some of us have badass backgrounds. Some of us have, I mean, at Legion's Con, getting to know the people there, just talking, the amount of professions. I work at Nike. I'm at the Nike World Headquarters. I'm in operations, right? A lot of people are like, huh? Really? Like, you got people that have their own channels that are attorneys. You got people that it's just amazing the amount of walks
Jonathan,
of life.
Jonathan,
Yeah,
Jonathan is an
yeah,
attorney,
yeah.
right?
I didn't find that out till this year when I was saying, I was like, hey, dude, so like, what do you do? And so he tells me, I'm like,
He's always well dressed. I was
oh, yeah,
like,
he's
that's
all,
your gimmick. That's your gimmick, to be well dressed all the time, and
yeah,
find out that he's actually an attorney, right?
yeah. So
Like,
if you're going to say, if you're,
Jorge has a similar
good.
story about, like, he kind of like, he was collecting early, then he stopped collecting, and then he started collecting again when he was older, right, Jorge? Very similar, right?
Yeah, there was a period in my life, high school years, where I thought collecting was frowned upon. So I remember walking into a Toys R Us and I saw a gentleman, must have been in his late 50s, full beard, gray, and he was just putting stuff in his shopping cart, man. He had play sets, action figures galore. And I've always been very social, so I just approached the man. I'm like, wow, your kids are lucky. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't have any kids. I'm like, so what are you buying all this for? Like, myself. I'm a collector. And it was like, phew, moment of clarity. There was like the floodgates open from there on, and that's where I started, collecting again, and the rest is history.
And now he's designing toys. See?
A chapter in life. Yeah.
Full circle. Full circle. But yeah, I mean, it's like Roberto says, what he said, like he says, the world will be a better place if more men give themselves permission to tap into their art and creativity. It's not a weakness. It's a sign of self-confidence. Yeah, you're totally right, my friend. You are totally right. Pablo's in the house. What's up, Panama?
Pablo.
Woo! Pablo is one of my best friends from childhood. He was at Legion's Con also. Sad, what's up, man? How's everything? Everything good? So yeah, Blake, I mean, dude, like, what's your... I know you collect Mythic Legions. I know you collect Joy Toy figures. But what's your go-to if you need to keep one toy line? What's your favorite toy line?
Well, first off, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Earbuds were acting up. My one toy line would be, that's a tough one. I'm all in on Four Horsemen.
Okay.
Currently, right now, and it's been like that since the Coliseum wave. I mean, I've been watching Four Horsemen from the beginning. Obviously, Spawn was really what got me into it, where I learned a lot about Four Horsemen because, you know, they've designed a lot for Spawn. He-Man, they've done a lot. They've had their hands in some of the most prestigious IPs out there. But I would tell you that Four Horsemen, G.I. Joe, Warhammer.
In that order.
Yeah, even though, I mean, my Warhammer collection is off the charts, but I am a completionist on the Four Horsemen stuff. But that's a different scale. So, like, I kind of look at it two different ways, right? I look at, okay, 1/18th, that's the only thing I collect is the Joy Toy stuff in 1/18. Everything else is the 6 to 7, the standard 6 or 1/12, like Hasbro level, like G.I. Joe. But, you know, Curtis Ackerman said on his show one time, and I have to agree with him wholeheartedly. You know, he brings up a lot of good things to think about, but he said, you know, ever since you started collecting the Four Horsemen figures or that scale, that kind of larger 7-inch kind of scale, and you put those in a display case, you put them on a shelf or whatever, they just have shelf presence. They just seem to pop. They're big enough that you notice them and they're amazing, but they're not too big to take up too much room. So I have to agree with him on that. The Four Horsemen, and I collect all three lines. I do all the Figure Obscura, the Cosmic, and the Mythic. There's also a reason, you know, and I know, Carlos, you and I have talked about this, what that company does for the community and how they take care of their fans and how they represent their product lines and the personal touches. And I mean, we hear it over video after video, live stream after live stream, and it should never stop, right? The gushing about Four Horsemen and the genuineness about those should never stop. That's positivity. We want more of that in this world, right? But they bring it. They absolutely bring it. And I've been at the last 2 Legion's Con. You can guarantee as soon as the hotel goes up, I'm getting my room. I'll be back out in 2025, and I'll keep going. I don't see an end, because not only the figure's fun and just the camaraderie, but it's the family and the genuineness. It's kind of like what I told you about my Instagram channel. I'm not rushing to any number, right? I don't care how many followers I have. It's the quality of followers that I do have within my channel, you know, within my IG. And that's all I do is my IG. I am on Facebook. My Facebook's more of a family orientated like stuff, but I'm in the cabals. Okay. And I do follow some stuff on there. And like Carlos, we're friends on Facebook. The community, those people, they're on both my Instagram and, you know, it's obviously the metaverse anyways, but I just feel that there is just an amazing correlation to just really cool action figures on my shelf when it comes to the Four Horsemen. The pop and swap capabilities, the customs. I mean, I started doing customs and stuff I never thought I would be doing over the last 2 years. I started, you know, and I've been supporting, like, you know, people like Robert Suarez. I mean, I've got a head sculpt that from Legion's Con, the Brian Von Verkeek painted. I made a custom out of his painted head sculpt. Ryan Ramos, Blaze Bear, Scalasori. I mean, the list goes on. EM Customs, Eric Miller, like Emil Wickman, Curtis Ackerman. I mean, we can just keep listing names, right? Because there's so many amazing, talented artists in this community. And, the tangible things that we have, they're wonderful, but it's the non-tangible connections that we've all built with one another that really are rewarding. When I put my head on the pillow at night, I feel like it, kind of corny stuff that goes back, but it completes me. You know what I'm saying? So
No, but it is. I mean, you're totally right. And one of the things that I always said, and this became kind of like a trademark for me about Legion's Con, is like Legion's Con is not about the toys, it's about the people, right?
Yep.
And I always say that because at the end of the day, the community and the people is what makes that place so special. The people behind the company, how they treat their fans, like family, like real friends, and that's really, really special. I mean, at this point, it's just like mind blowing how humble those guys are. I mean, listen, Jorge and me, we were at intern for a day, and Eric Treyway took maybe like an hour of his busy time to talk to me and Jorge about our toy line, giving us advices, mainly Jorge, because they were talking about the toy design and everything. And, like having that opportunity to talk to people like them and, like share experiences and like advices and stuff like that. Like Jeremy come to our booth and telling us, listen, guys, you should do this, you should do that. And I think this is better for you guys, especially in this area. That was priceless. Like the just those little details makes them, like kind of like excel in everything, like, and people see that. And that's why I think the community is so special in the Four Horsemen environment, like on the Cabal, you name it, everywhere, especially at Legion's Con, because it's kind of like a family reunion, right? For every year. It's pretty special. And talking about that, I mean, we need to like be really thankful because, I mean, we're a new toy line and they give us the opportunity to kind of like that platform to showcase what's coming from us, and that opportunity was priceless for us. That kind of like opened a whole new door for From the Realm, and we're really thankful. We're really, really thankful for that. Like, to be honest with you, really, really thankful. And talking about that, Jorge, and to tell Blake what's going on with From the Realm, because we need to talk about From the Realm and what's coming.
Well, there's a lot of new updates in the sense of modifications, changes that we're doing based on recommendations. Our buddy Sebastian Dominguez, you guys know him as Art of Sebas. He's doing a lot of work for us. We're doing the modifications. We're adding a swivel joint to the mid thigh, and we also eliminated the outer ankle sculpt because the original sculpt was kind of made to mimic the Mafex type of buck, right? But we got the feedback from Jason Soul from another really cool toy line,
Brutal
Realm, and he was telling us, that piece should be eliminated because let's see if I can show you right here. So this piece right here, do the other way. See how that kind of sticks out? That would kind of hinder the range of motion if the foot is pointed that way. So we're eliminating that piece out of the sculpt, and we are adding a whole new um, ligament, you would call it, which is going to be sort of like a organic looking attachment that plugs into the middle of the back, and then that's going to have the wing attachments attached to that, because we couldn't physically, the way the prototype was shown at the show, we couldn't physically plug those wings into a prototype because it would break into the internal tooling of the chest cavity. So we had to kind of design that. So I sent my 2D design to Sebas, and he's going to be working on finalizing that pretty soon. Aside from that, we got Eric Sosa, which, you know, it's amazing to have such a talent. I've known Eric for over 20 years. He's such an amazing guy, and you could see the detail and the love that he puts into the sculpts. I can't wait for you guys to see what else is in store for the campaign. There's, you know, I talked to a lot of you guys at the show and I kind of give you a glimpse of what's coming, but these two heads are not all. There's a lot of different iterations of vampires and possibly some non-vampires. So there's a lot of cool stuff cooking, and we have a little more time now because, you know, given that the Four Horsemen announced that their Dragon campaign is going to launch in March, which was when we were going to launch our campaign. We're not stupid. We're not going to compete against the Dragon. So
Smart.
we're gonna wait till everybody funds that giant, beautiful thing that we've been waiting almost a decade for, and then the realm will have its time. So we're thinking possibly end of April is when we'll be launching. We're definitely going to be at Toylanta, and we're going to have colored prototype, hoping to have a fully articulated sample on hand so you guys can see how the figure moves, soft good example, maybe a packaging mock-up. Going to have definitely a lot more visuals to entice future collectors and future supporters of the line. And of course, seen in the picture here, we got Noah, which is actually already in the final stages of painting that particular sample, which we handed to him over in Jersey, and he's doing an amazing job. So he's most likely going to be doing the paint masters for us. So yeah, it's really exciting, man, to see everything kind of take shape. And it's funny because my wife is not into collecting at all either. And when I talked to her a year back about this, she was like, yeah, but you know, how are you going to get this done and this and that? And when we went to Legion's Con and when I got this prototype mailed to me and she saw this thing, she was like, holy shit, okay. Now I know what you're
The thing is serious. The thing is serious.
like, you mean business? Like this is cool shit. And so we got amazing feedback from everybody at the show. People are excited. I'm excited. I have an entire universe in my head. So if this thrives, as I hope it will, I mean, there are so many realms to explore. You know, there's the realm of shadow, which we're starting with. There's from the woods. There's from the deep. There's from beyond. There's from the lab. There is so many realms and so much potential to create plastic crack for you guys to buy. You're into monsters, man.
It's called PFA, man. PFA. Plastic Figures Anonymous.
That's why the show is Toy Addicts Anonymous.
And that's the funny thing. When I started this show, I started on my own, and the whole idea of it and the way I approached it, if you see some of my first videos, was like, I think my first video was with Cornboy from the Horsemen, and it was all about kind of discussing the topic. So whoever was on the guest would talk about their background, how they got into collecting, and what are the pros and cons of being a collector. Budget, you know, like there's some people that I know personally. I had a friend that would rather pay utilities late and get something that he wanted to get. And
Yeah.
we know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm guilty of doing these things in my younger years, right?
Yes.
But that was the whole idea. It was like Toy Addicts Anonymous. It's like embrace your addiction. And originally I had the idea of having like an actual coin that we could give every guest. So it's almost like the sobriety coin that you get at AA and stuff. That never took place, but who knows? Maybe in the future. But yeah, man, it's really interesting to talk about how we got into the hobby. Everybody has a different story of their evolution, right? Some people are blessed to be able to say, "Hey, I was cleaning up the basement the other day, and I got like my 1980s Thundercats collection intact."
You're like, whoa.
Wow.
So you literally have a down payment for a house if you have all those figures. So unfortunately for me, I don't have anything from my childhood because my father decided I was too old to play with toys, and he just gave all my stuff away. But we all have different stories, right? And I think that's really interesting also in this community, is sharing that little piece of us about what is the foundation of why we are collectors today. Why is it such a passion? Why does it bring us so much joy? My wife is in the mental health field, and she's always trying to decipher what is the root cause of my collection habit. And it's like, oh, you had trauma as a child. I'm like, listen, I don't even care about the definition. All I know is it brings me joy. I'm now switching roles and going from collector to creator, and it's my world, and it's what makes me happy. So I don't need you to, like decipher me and stuff like that, But it's like I said, it's just really interesting topic. Getting to learn, like your story. It was really interesting, the whole being in the core and obviously that not being accepted. I remember when I worked at AT&T, I had a coworker of mine that when he found out I collected collectibles, he was like, you're kidding, right? You're pranking me. And he's like, what do you do with toys? Like, you're a grown ass man. I'm like, bro, like, what do you do with guitars? You like playing guitars? I mean, some people might think guitars are lame. I mean, everybody has their lane and what makes them happy, right? So who are we to judge what people like or what their hobbies are? You know what I mean? But yeah, in this community, it's really fun and interesting to know the stories of people and to get it to know people. And it's like we call ourselves like kind of brothers in arms, because we all have this thing, this synergy because of our passion for the plastic crack, right? So it's just yeah, man, shows like this, I would love to do them more often. I got a 4-year-old, so she takes up a lot of my time, but it's really fun to sit here and talk to everybody and especially at Legion's Con. Oh my God, meeting people in person. That's like, amazing. We've made so many incredible connections, like Steve Mank, which is a great partner with us and from the realm, and he's helped us out a lot.
He's part of the family.
Yeah. So it's just, I could go on and on, but like I know you guys share the sentiment. There's so much love and bonding within this community. It's awesome.
Well, guys, let's wrap this. And Blake, can you please tell us how can we contact you? Like, like following you, follow what you're doing, what's coming, what's your plan for 2025, what do you expect, and everything else.
Yeah. Well, obviously right on the banner right there, you can follow me at Instagram at Recon Rage Page. That is the only format that I have right now, right here. Yeah, right there. And coming in 2025, well, there's all kinds of things. Lots of things I don't even know yet. You know what I mean? But I'm open to it. I mean, this 2025 started off pretty good for me in the aspect of being involved in this community online, which I really enjoy. Like I said, I was on Legion's Lair as the guest, and that's one of those really cool things from the Mythic, from the Four Horsemen side, to be, Brad and Mike, Broder and all them guys, to be brought into the Legion's Lair as the sole, get knighted, the whole 9 yards. That was really fun. And then, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you sit back and you sit there and kind of like, well, I don't know where I'm really necessarily going on this, but I like the journey and I'm going to be open to it. You know, I was last weekend, Roberto Suarez, me, Brian Von Berg, and Blaze Bear. I was the guest, and I brought all three of them along to Shooting the Shelf. So if you want to go check out Shooting the Shelf,
I was watching the show. I was in the chat.
Yep, you were. Yeah, you're in a lot of the chats. You're, you know, and I pop up everywhere.
Listen, I'm trying to support the most I can everybody at the end of the day. Like that's my goal.
Yeah. And you know, like Trevor's comment earlier, Blake's everywhere. Yeah. I'm everywhere because I really enjoy this. I'm everywhere because I try to support everybody's channels because I believe in what everyone's doing here. And I think it's important that we all embrace each other. This is a very large community. I don't think people really grasp the sheer numbers in this community globally of how many people out there are, you know, doing what we're doing. And it just keeps growing by leaps and bounds. And if you sit there and look back at the Four Horsemen, even just 5 years ago, and where they were pre-pandemic and where they are now. So, I mean, I've got people at Nike, I walk in and on their desk, there's a guy walking around. It's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, not much. I'm like, is that a Mythic Legions? He's like, yeah. I got it off Amazon. I saw it. And then I was researching it. And then I've been watching. So what do you know about that? I'm like, oh, I go to Legions Con. Like the community's amazing. He says, oh man, I was really thinking about going. My wife doesn't want to go, but I was thinking about, you know, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's out here in Portland, Oregon at Nike at the world headquarters. And there's people that are making 3D action figures out here. There's stuff going on all over the place in this community. You know, so what's coming for me? I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. I hope it's a lot of good stuff, a good energy, lots more relationships in times like this on live streams, in person at cons, sitting around doing a local meetup and having, you know, go and grab some food and talking toys just with some local peeps here. And just, you know, spreading the joy and taking ownership of what you love and just representing. That's
awesome. Awesome. Guys, just make sure to follow Recon Rage, follow Blake at Recon Rage and Instagram. You have the info right there. Jorge, what's coming from the realm?
Hey, a lot of good stuff. Things I don't want to show yet, but we will be.
You want, but you can't.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we have thought out where we want to involve the community. So we're going to be posting up some polls pretty soon if you are on the Facebook group from the realm, because we just kind of want to gauge the customers as to what they would prefer to see versus what they wouldn't prefer to see in the campaign, just to give us an idea of how we map things out. We're not going to be a wave heavy campaign. We're not going to be doing like 8 figures or nothing like that. We're focusing more on quality over quantity, and obviously looking after people's wallets and how the economy is nowadays. So yeah, just working on some really cool stuff. Like every day I sit there on my iPad and I'm like updating things, doing turnarounds, doing concept work, you know, doing some stuff, you know, like waiting for Noah to finish the Paint Master so we can share that with you guys. You know, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of conversations, and of course, if you're excited about this, you know, we're selling the shirts. So the way we're doing it is, this is kind of like a preamble to the campaign. So we're trying to raise a little bit of funds pre-production just to have things kind of set in the right course by the time we launch the campaign. The shirts are $30. It's a pre-order. We have Steve Mank from Articulated Empire doing us the great favor of handling sales, logistics, shipping, all that. So you go to Articulated Empire, pick up some cool toys. He's got tons of awesome stuff there, and pick up a t-shirt to support us. And we're planning on doing a new t-shirt that'll have different graphics. We were also talking about possibly doing something where we could give a certain percentage of proceeds to help aid from the fires in California, because that's been cataclysmic, right? Like apocalyptic type damage. And yeah, just working on a lot of stuff. There's more things in 2025 that are going to come to light that I was involved in creatively that I can't disclose yet, but it happens this year, so it's a big year for me, and I'm really, really excited to get it going.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, guys. Again, Badass Reviews. I'm gonna be at MegaCon covering the event. We're gonna have Mythic Legions there. It's gonna be the Four Horsemen are gonna be there.
Let's go.
Yep. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be on Friday. I think Mesco is gonna be there. I was talking to Paige from the Mesco Collectors Group. He's gonna be there. So yeah, I'm gonna have like good times there. I think there are gonna be a bunch of exclusive. The first time I seen MegaCon is gonna have some exclusive. I believe Mesco is gonna have an exclusive. Still not like set up yet. They mentioned that, so let's see how it goes. That will be great, and that will be like big news for that. It's gonna be a big event. I know Mel Gibson is gonna be there, so that's big news. Also, man, a bunch of cool stuff at MegaCon. By the way, talking about conventions, Toylanta from the Realm is gonna be there with Articulated Empire. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be offering the shirts. I believe they're gonna be the exclusive ones, right? The ones that we're planning to do donations for the people who got affected by the fires in California. So if you want to help them out, you're going to help from the Realm. That's the opportunity right there. We're going to have some prototypes, paint masters, like Jorge said. I mean, everything. And next to us is going to be Articulated Empire with amazing action figures. Man, Steve has everything. I was so tempted to get some stuff there, like when I was next to him. But I mean, time is crazy because when we were at LegionsCon, we didn't have time to share with everybody. That was so insane. And I was there for almost a week, right? Yeah. So it was so, time goes fast, man, when you're having fun. When you're having fun with good people. So yeah, really excited for Toylanta. I know there's a lot of people. Mega J Retro is going to be there also.
Nice.
And man, a bunch of people. Brett for Toylanta, Joe Lanta, such a great guy. He's helping us a lot. He's always giving me the hand, man. He's always supporting the line, supporting us all the time. Also, Ishcon. Hopefully, we're going to be at Ishcon also with a table showing the prototype. Stay tuned for that. Ishwar is my brother, and he's always supporting us all the time. So, yeah, we're really thankful. From the Realm is going strong. As Jorge said, we're going to wait after the dragon from Mythic Legions. Make sure you get the dragon, guys. If you don't get the dragon, you're going to regret it. Even if you don't collect Mythic Legions, man, just to have that centerpiece in your toy room, in your collection, even in your kitchen, it doesn't matter. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. You can ride that thing to your work. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's going to be incredible. So, hey, support the Four Horsemen. I mean, that's going to be hell of a piece. Maybe toy of the year, pretty much. Then after that dragon, toy of the year will be from the Realm, right? After the dragon. But yeah, guys, really excited for that. Really excited for what's coming from the Realm. Also, Badass Reviews, guys. Good news. I can't say too much, like stuff. So I'm gonna stay a little bit quiet. Some surprises that are coming. Again, really thankful with all the people in the community that support from the Realm, Badass Reviews, Toy Addict, Recon Rage. Guys, just go there, go to YouTube, go to Instagram, check all these toy photographers because they're amazing, guys. They're amazing. You have so many talented people in the community. Support them. is the most important thing. Like, is great. Even if it's just a little like, man, go there, just give it a like, give it a follow. Doesn't cost anything. So, and you're gonna have fun watching pictures, watching information, watching everything you like. So yeah, guys. Again, hey, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, Blake. You are awesome, man. Like
I
what you do
appreciate
for
it. Thank you.
me, like is incredible. Blake is one of the best, well-spoken guys ever. He helped me out so much with the Emil interview at Legion's Con. He was the one who showing everything. Yeah, because I'm a beast when I'm like talking, but I'm having fun. And so yeah, guys, thank you so much again, Toy Addicts Anonymous. Man, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The community, all the chat, Pablo, Roberto, 16 Shooter, Sed, Brick, everybody, Dave, everybody on the chat. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, take a look, follow Blake. Thank you so much, guys, and talk to you later.
Good night, guys.